Hey, welcome to the VJ for February 15th, 2019, White and Dark Racism. My name is Eric Leo. I'm a professional social psychologist, EMU alum, and this is my journal where I talk about the American Mirror mental disease, knowing sustainability, and what's happening around the world today. Hit that like button, let me know that you're here. The VJ comes out a couple times per month. In this video journal, I build off Dark Racism 2019 that I just came out with, and how the post relates to Netflix documentaries Explained and Trigger Warning and Emma Watson's interview on Our Shared Self. I talk about Sustainable Development Goal number 10, how this relates to the philosophy of money talks, and Marcus Lemonis being full stack. Production. Previous related works include Dark Racism 2019, Current Focus for January 2019, The American Mirror Mental Disease, and Knowing. Movies and shows. There are 3 pieces of media that I will focus on in this VJ. From Netflix, Trigger Warning and Explain, specifically the racial wealth gap episode and Emma Watson's interview for Rennie Edo Lodge on Our Shared Self. Dark racism is the necessary prerequisite to understanding the relationship between these documentaries and dark racism. Remember, you can call a man a nigger, but it's meaningless, or at least means less, if she has a good degree of health, wealth, and happiness. And that's the fundamental understanding of dark racism. The following is a sociological perspective. The graph is from the racial wealth gap and shows how black people don't get the opportunity to invest in their future and build wealth. The graph shows white wealth in the white and black wealth in the red. Rennie and Emma are talking about complicity in white supremacy and how whites benefit, how racism is built into institutions, and racism in history is being erased or not being taught. White women must question their whiteness just as we question the patriarchy. Trigger warning. Killer Mike understands the fundamental aspect of dark racism where the focus is on the economic wealth and prosperity. He basically pulls a PR stunt to improve the image of the black community by rallying the Crips and Bloods behind selling soda, Blood Pop, and Cripicola. I think it's great. Now they can afford to pay for mental health services to deal with their problems like white people do. Counseling. After knowing dark racism about how race is socially constructed due to historic conflict between Crips and Bloods, I wonder if black people are more prone to creating prejudice and discrimination through arbitrary distinctions. Crips and Bloods are the creation of an arbitrary distinction, which is their assigned colors blue and red. My specific hypothesis question would be as follows. Are black people more prone to creating arbitrary distinctions that lead to violence due to a harsh environment or harshly reflected environment? In essence, I suspect that because of the hardship of the ghetto, coupled with the stigma and reactions to that stigma blacks have, I wonder if they just don't blame their problems on a different color. Black and white people aren't that different. If you're ignorant, it's just easiest to just blame your problems on a different color, or in specific terms, an in-group whose arbitrary distinction is different than yours. Crips and Bloods are a perfect example of this. It's literally an in-group that created more in-groups based off of arbitrary distinctions that are used to divide the community. The American Mirror mental disease. If you ask me, I think the public relations of Crips and Bloods cohabitating is pivotal in framing the discussion for real racism. Dark racism, economic racism. The real problem is we don't do what we need to because we are blinded by racism. We think it's blacks causing crime, not the economic conditions of poverty. We think it's black welfare mothers and not the same economic conditions that came from the lineage of slavery and how those financial conditions affect the nuclear family. Just like with keeping black youth out of prison, the real challenge is to stop them before they get themselves into trouble in the first place. People who hold a free rapper sleazy sign are not their friend. They should have helped him make a better decision so he didn't end up in jail in the first place. As with the American Mirror mental disease, there's not an appropriate reflection in the black community. We all still have MLK, but it's historic and not recent and palpable. Where's the Marcus Lemonis of black people? Damon John does a good job. Where's the black Edward Jones. If it wasn't for institutionalized racism, it would be hard not to blame black people for, throughout class, perpetrating an irresponsible lifestyle. It seems the real issue is behavioral poverty that leads to financial poverty, considering 78% of the National Football League and 60% of the National Basketball League players go broke after leaving the sport. Knowing sustainability. This week's UN Sustainable Development Goal is number 10, reduce inequalities. There should be something in American society like there is with Native Americans, that because of the country's black history, blacks get reparations in the form of a university education and land. Another idea for promoting and encouraging black wealth is to start a magazine that applauds the creation of black wealth. People will work hardest for recognition, so not only recognizing black wealth, but the creation of black wealth will do wonders for the community. Philosophies. Naturally, this week's featured Philosophies shirt is Money Talks. With all this talk about the wealth gap between white and black, what does this say about how money talks? To me, it says that black people are free, but America will still not invest in them. Social media presence. Speaking of money talks, consulting.com keeps on popping up for me, so I heard him out. The problem is I'm not trying to make a 7-figure consulting business. I'm trying to start a shirts and tee shop. He says everyone is focused on marketing while he's focused on the product. This is why I follow Marcus Lemonis, because he's focused on people, process, and product. By learning through edX.org, I'm working on what he calls full stack. Marcus Lemonis is an example of full stack and why I follow him so closely. My music career is at ericleo108.org. My personal life and goals. It's nice to know the government has a system to support people that need care. Thank you to the state of Michigan and the fine people at St. Joseph County CMH for their care. I have a good relationship with the staff at the AFC home. I have another grad school recommendation from one of the house employees. It looks like Ann Arbor is going to take a couple years. I'm hoping to live in Jackson. It's right in the middle of the state and a half hour from Ann Arbor and Lansing. Lyceum Records. This week's featured song is Problems from the Chalice mixtape. If you like to show support for this mission or have me talk about any other topic, send a donation to lyceumrecords@gmail.com through PayPal. I'm requesting that if you could, please contribute to the journal to make it better and support the author. Thank you. In conclusion, check out the journal media and Treatise and VJ description list. If you think these VJs are ever going to come to an end, you're wrong. I will always be doing a VJ. Hit that like button, leave a comment or a question and I'll answer. Follow me on Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of my family. You're awesome. I love you very much. And until next time, you take care, all right?